Well, hello, my friends. Hello. This is the S. Anthony Says podcast. This is the S. Anthony Thomas, and this is episode number 266. How the heck are you doing, sass bastards all over the world? How are you doing? I've been doing this for a while now, and you've been listening to this for a while now, and, I have admitted to some things that are a tad embarrassing on my part. Some things that I've done that have been a little embarrassing, and some things that I've seen that have been a little embarrassing. I have done that already. And I don't see why that should not continue. But I just want to say before I even let you know what happened to me today, you know how sometimes I'll say something and I'll tell you something, and then I'll punctuate it by saying F y'all because I know you're judging me. Well, before I get started, before I even get started, I just want to say pre-F y'all. Because I know the judgment is coming. And I'm telling you something right now, you bastards. I know for a fact you're just as sick as me, maybe even a little more so. You see, me being as weird as I am, I have no control over it. The weird thoughts in my head are in my head. There's nothing I can do about it. They're just there. But you weirdos, yeah, I'm talking to you. You sick bastards decide to come back and listen to this crap on a regular basis. And I only have one thing to say about that. 1, thank you. And 2, thank you. And 3, thank you. And 4, let's get started. Even though on this podcast, I joke a lot, I talk about, bang city and bang the crap and bang, bang, bang and all of those things. I know that you're all wise enough to realize that I'm actually lampooning that specific mindset and that I don't actually have it myself. You probably could figure that out by now. Because you've heard me talk in my normal, serious voice without any kind of comedic cadence. So you know what I sound like and when I'm being very serious, and you have an idea of what I'm actually like. Yeah, but you also know there's certain things I just wouldn't actually say in real life when I'm not just trying to make you laugh. And there's a popular term. I don't know if we would say it's popular, but it's a well-known term, and I heard somebody use it today. Like in the old days when I would watch old movies, they would talk about ladies. They call them, hey, that's broads, those dames, those birds, those broads, dames, broads, dames. These are the kind of things you wouldn't get away with calling a woman now, and you shouldn't be able to. But one of the ones I heard today, and it's an old one, and you've heard it before, butterface. I know you've heard that term before. Butterface, right? You have never heard anyone say but his face, because there's no product called but his. I mean, it's a product called butter, so I understand what they're doing there. If there was a dairy product called But His, then they would say, hey, But His face. So, okay, I kind of know why they don't say But His face now. I guess I can't use that as an excuse now to lampoon people that say butterface. I'll just talk about what they actually say. And what it means basically is the person you're describing has a fantastic body and a spectacular, delicious body. But what you're saying is her face is so unattractive to you that you don't think it matches the physical part of her. She has a fantastic body and her face is messed up in your estimation, right? If she was kind of cute or average in your estimation, you wouldn't say but her face. You would just say, hey, that's a cute lady with a nice body. Hey, she's kind of cute. Great body. You wouldn't insult her. You would just talk about how great her body is. But in this particular case, these guys were using it as using this disgusting term to describe a woman in the supermarkets. You see that lady up with the butterface, she got the butterface, man, that body, man, move, that body was slamming. But that girl's face was effed up, man, but the butterface, man, I mean, her body's slamming, but the face was, she was damn ugly, but she was a real butterface. And I'm thinking, these guys are disgusting pigs. I want to see her. And I can honestly tell you, I've never actually used that term to describe someone because even when I was younger and less mature, I thought it was a horrible thing to say about somebody. So I go into the supermarket and then I'm now listening to my phone, playing some music, listening to some podcasts. And I see this lady. And I really, in real life, don't objectify women like that, even though I joke about it on the podcast. But this woman had what I like to refer to as one of the most spectacular buttocks I've ever seen in my life. And I'm going, please, I said, Jesus, if you just peek at her delicious buttocks and keep it moving, you're not really objectifying her. You're noticing her delicious buttocks. And then I realized that by the time I said this, I had already been staring at her delicious buttocks for about 4 minutes. And I felt guilty. And I'm going, oh, why did I do that? Why did I do that? I got to get out of this aisle. I can't keep staring at this woman's delicious buttocks. And even as I was walking out of the aisle, I was still staring at it. You know how sometimes you watch one of the, like, it was like my head was on a gyroscope. As I moved, my head somehow contorted itself to look at her delicious buttocks, because sometimes even the most enlightened people among us can sometimes be very, very disgusting pigs. I'm not proud of that, but damn, she had a delicious ass. And I walked back into the aisle. I really didn't even need sugar, but I picked up another 5-pound bag of sugar because, well, she was still in the aisle. And she turned around. And, oh, I think I know who they were talking about. This woman had the body of a 30-year-old, but she was about, I don't know, she was old enough to be someone's grandma. But from the neck down, I'm not even exaggerating. I'm telling you, from the neck down, she looked like a 30-year-old fitness model. But right from the chin to the top of her scalp, she looked like an old lady. Now, if you really think about this, in this particular instance, you wouldn't say butterface. First of all, you shouldn't say butterface because, as I said, it's a horrible term to use to describe someone. But this is the kind of thing you would compliment someone on. You would go, she's an older lady and look how she takes care of herself. That's how I would describe her. I would say, she's an older lady and look how she takes care of herself. She keeps herself in great shape. That's how you would describe her. But I knew from what they had said that this was the lady they were talking about. And I was like, that's kind of wrong that they did that. It was also kind of wrong because now I realized I was sitting there fantasizing about doing things to the buttocks of someone old enough to be someone's grandma. And I walked out of the aisle embarrassed with myself. I couldn't believe my pig ass was doing that. And I'm going, geez, dude, you were fantasizing about some woman's buttocks. This woman was old enough to be someone's grandma. And then I walked back into the aisle and grabbed another 5-pound bag of sugar that I didn't need because I wanted to see it again. And in my mind, I didn't know her name, but in my mind, for some reason, I started calling her Granny Sweetbutt. And I realized that's even more disgusting. And also, I have 17 bags of sugar in my cart, and I don't need any sugar. So I put them back, which was great because it gave me more opportunity to look at Granny Sweetbutt. I mean, F y'all. So I walk around and I'm going, okay, that's just wrong. You can't be sitting there thinking about somebody's grandma's butt and doing stuff to it. You're wrong. So I went into my phone, I turned off the music and I went to the podcast section and I found a true crime podcast that I didn't want to listen to at the time because it was too gruesome and disgusting and gross. So I rewound it and I started playing it from the part that made me stop listening to it at the time. And it was like, and then the murder and the ripping and killing and blood and death and destruction and killing and murder and killing and sadness and killing and sad and killing and murder and blood and guts and blood and guts and killing and murder and kids crying and murder and killing and stabbing and killing. And I got depressed and I forgot all about Granny Sweetbutt. I go into the next aisle and now I'm actually buying things I actually need. And I see a lady at the end of the aisle. I'm going, forget about Granny Sweetbutt. Oh man, now I can actually look at and lust after this beautiful lady because this lady is age appropriate and I can't believe I'm objectifying this woman. I'm not objectifying this woman's breast because I'm a disgusting pig. I'm objectifying this woman's breast because I'm trying to wash the picture of Granny Sweetbutt out of my brain. And I'm going, wow, that woman is in great shape and what a delicious breast she has. Okay, I'm going to stop looking at it because this is gross and I'm objectifying this woman and I don't want to be that type of guy. Now, I'm not walking up to her. I'm not leering at her. I'm actually sneaking these peeks. And then when she turns around, and it's Granny Sweetbutt again. This time she had actually taken off her jacket and wrapped it around her waist. So I didn't notice the buttocks, which I would have immediately identified. And now I realize, oh, I just washed out the memories of the things I was imagining with her butt, and now it's the breast, and now she takes the jacket and she puts it over her shoulder, and now I can see the delicious buttocks and her delicious breast, and now I think this is wrong. And I'm feeling guilty and horrible about this. It's just, right? And you ever just have thoughts that are going through your mind, and you know you're a better person than those thoughts. You know you're a better person. You know you're a more evolved person, but for some reason, those disgusting thoughts, you're trying to justify them. And then there's another part of it that's like, do not justify those thoughts. You were fantasizing about doing something to this woman's buttocks, and she's old enough to be someone's grandma. Now you're looking at her breast, and the breast of someone old enough to be someone's grandmom, and you're wrong and you got to get out of this aisle. When I was going to get out of the aisle, but I now had, remember when the other aisle had 17-pound packs of sugar that I didn't, big 5-pound bags of sugar. Now I have 700 cans of soup in my cart because I'm trying to make an excuse to stay in the aisle. And now I got to take all of those. I said, screw that. I'm just going to leave it here and get another cart. I don't feel like doing that. And I walked away. Oh, man. And it was really annoying because apparently Granny Sweetbutt and I like to buy the same crap, because every time I go to an aisle to get something, Granny Sweetbutt walks in, and then now and it's really weird because it was like a really bad sitcom episode, because everything she did was highlighting her fantastic body, and it was like I was being teased by the universe. I'd walk into an aisle, and then Granny Sweetbutt would be in the aisle, and she'd be bending over to get something, and I'm going, ha, and I try to go into the next aisle to get away from her, and then the next thing I know, she'd show up in the aisle, and then she'd be stretching up to get something and poking her breast out, and I'm going, no, God, no, and then I try to go into another aisle, and I'm going, I can't deal with this, I don't want to be a disgusting pig, and this is wrong and gross because she's old enough to be somebody's grandma, but from the neck down, she's a 30-year-old fitness model, and I don't like what I'm thinking. I'll never do anything, but I don't like what I'm thinking, even though I'd never do anything, I don't like it. And I also don't like the fact that the name Granny Sweetbutt is now burned into my mind. Please don't. I gotta go find some place where she's just not gonna go, because I don't want to have an excuse to look at her, because I know she's old enough to be someone's grandmom, and I just, wait a minute. She's an old woman. I know what I'm going to do. She looks like she's almost done. I'm going to go into the aisle with the baby stuff, and I'm just going to stand there and listen to a podcast for about 15 minutes, or I'm going to listen to about 6 Prince songs or something, and hopefully she'll get the hell out of the supermarket, and I won't have to deal with that crap. And now she's in the baby aisle, and she's on the phone talking about getting something for her great-grandchild. Great. And I'm going, oh God, what the hell is going on here? Why is this happening? What the hell? What kind of test is the universe trying to give me? Just torture me, because you know I'm not going to do anything. So why do you keep doing this crap? Trying to make me feel like a freaking pervert when I'm normally an extremely enlightened man. And she walks up to me, and I'm like, really? And she starts talking, hey. I'm like, hey, what's going on? I almost said Granny Sweetbutt. Oh God, no. I said, yes, ma'am. And then she starts talking, and she don't even sound like an old woman. And she's talking to me, and all of a sudden she's going, could you hand me that? Cause I'm taller than her. And I handed the stuff, and I handed to her, and she says, thank you very much, youngster. And I said, thank you, miss. And I almost said Granny. I said, thank you. Actually, I almost said Granny Sweetbutt to her, but I didn't. She said, thank you. I said, that's great. And then she goes, can I tell you something? And I go, yeah. And, I know what she's going to tell me. And then she gets close to me and says, thank you very much. You're a sweet young man and a real cutie too. And she gives me a peck on the cheek, and I'm going, right. And don't act like you've never seen someone that was a lot older than you, but for some reason they physically look really good, and you're going, you know what? From the neck down, And she was not she wasn't an ugly woman. She was a very pretty lady, but she was, obviously an older lady, but from the neck down, she was not an older lady, at least not the way she looked in clothes and stuff, and then she starts to head away, and I'm going, good, get out of here, get out. Yeah, get out. She didn't do anything wrong. She seems like a sweet lady. She didn't do anything wrong. All she did wrong was have fantastic genetics and work out a lot. And I'm going, gee, just get out of here. I feel like a freaking pervert. And I in good faith tried to get the hell away from her, but for some reason she, all right. So now I see her she's at the cash register. Okay, now she's going to leave the store. I continue to do my shopping, and she's long gone, thank God. And the whole time I'm going, this is disgusting. It's really weird. I go pay for my stuff, and I walk outside, and I look around, and I don't see Granny Sweetbutt, and it's great. And I know there's a problem. Most likely I'll never see this person again, because I don't even go shopping in this store that often, and I don't go shopping in this store at this time that often, and I'm not even in that particular city that much. So I'll never see this woman again, and it's great. Oh, God, because it's just, she turned me into, I see a lady there on a motorcycle. I'm like, oh yeah, finally somebody that, that's okay to look at and want to bang the crap out of, and look at it. And she's got that tight outfit on. I'm like, yeah, Jack. I walk up to her, and she's parked 2 cars away from the mighty Toyota Camry, and I wave at her, give her the point, because she gives me the point. And I'm like, well, now even though I was up there looking at some old woman, and it's nice to have a hot young thing like that give me the point. She ain't got no reason to nod and point at me except for the fact that, well, I'm cute. I'm like, and she's, and I know what you're thinking. You're probably thinking that this story's about to end, and I'm going to tell you that the lady in the leather outfit was Granny Sweetbutt, and I was lusting after her one last time, and then I'm going to end the segment. Well, guess what, jackasses? The joke's on you. That was not Granny Sweetbutt. It was not. It would have been kind of cool if it was Granny Sweetbutt. It would have been a great way to end the story, but unfortunately it was just another young lady. I'm kidding. It was Granny Sweetbutt. Leather outfit. And I said, now she rides motorcycles too. I should have just let you think that it wasn't Granny Sweetbutt and then moved on with some other storytelling, some other story, but it actually was Granny Sweetbutt, and she rode off on a motorcycle in a tight outfit she had on it was really weird, man. I felt like the exact opposite of those old dudes that hang outside of college campuses, or, what I'm saying, they're trying to wait for the 19-year-olds to come out. The guy's 45 years old, and he's going to go and get it on with some high school girl who's 18 or some college girl who's 20 or some crap like that. It's the exact opposite, because well, it's not exactly the exact opposite, because those guys are willingly going there to actually try to get it on with the 20-year-old, and they're 50 or 45 or whatever when they're too old for that crap. This was me just innocently going to the supermarket. And, but so it's not exactly the same thing. It's different. It's different. Well, that part was different. What was not different was me Googling old folks' homes in the near area and standing outside of old folks' home, hoping that I could find Granny Sweetbutt in one of them old folks' home, coming out of the old folks' home with that body, and, sitting on the, mighty Toyota Camry, holding a bouquet of roses in my left hand, and, some applesauce in the right hand, because I have a feeling she probably has her teeth out sometimes. I'm sitting out there, as I'm playing some music. I'm trying to play music from her era. People are going, why is that guy sitting over there with a bouquet of roses in his hand, wearing a zoot suit and with a bowl of applesauce in his hand? And I'm shooting a movie, and they're going, you out here trying to find some old woman with a great body so you can get it on with him, you sick freak. And I'm like, that, what makes you think that? And they said, well, you're holding a sign that says Granny Sweetbutt come to me. And I said that sign that says Granny Sweetbutt come to me came with the car, as did the zoot suit, the bouquet of roses, and the applesauce. I said, don't judge me, damn it. But as it turns out, I should have known better than that. Granny Sweetbutt would, she wouldn't be in an old folks home. I mean, she rode off in a damn motorcycle. I don't see anybody, riding to an old folks home in a motorcycle. Because, they would be in good enough shape, but they wouldn't have to be in an old folks home. So that don't make much sense. But if somehow Granny Sweetbutt does hear this podcast, I want to let you know right now, I just want to let you know that I apologize, for staring at your butt and breasts and all of that. I apologize for that. I mean, I didn't want to do it. But you should be flattered, that a young, fresh guy like me wants to anyway, folks, all I'm saying is don't judge a book by its cover. Those young guys were saying butterface and all of that, but, I have a feeling that they were just trying to say that because each one of them caught the other one staring at Granny Sweetbutt, and they were just trying to play it off. And really, they were like, damn, I know she's 1,000, but I want to jump on top of her. Which is what I was saying as I drove away in the mighty Toyota Camry. Damn, she's 1,000, but I want to jump on top of her. So, if Granny Sweetbutt does happen to hear this, I just want to let you know right now that I apologize for objectifying you in my mind. And I want to say to my regular audience, this has nothing to do with Granny Sweetbutt. I'm just saying this for no particular reason. And if people out there want to contact me about the show and they want to give me some, questions or comments or suggestions for the show, or if they wanted to leave their phone number and address for me to have sex with them later, Granny Sweetbutt, the email address, I should not, no, that's wrong. Because people are going to get the feeling that I'm just I'm telling my email address because I want Granny Sweetbutt to contact me, and I would want Granny Sweetbutt to leave her address and phone number, because I would like to sneak over and bang her, but I wouldn't do that because that would be wrong. Don't judge me, F y'all. Except Granny Sweetbutt. I mean, I think you're a nice person. Segment over. Okay, everybody, let's talk about this here. There are a lot of people that are really good with an end result, right? When you think about the end result, you get a good end result, but a lot of times we never ask what the journey to the end result is. If somebody has a handyman or a repair person or a mechanic, and what they'll do is they'll go, well, I had this guy, Frank, he does my, this, and he does my painting for me, and he does my walls, and he does all this, he does all the stuff around the house, and he does the plumbing and all of that kind of crap, and here's the before picture, and here's the after picture. Now, what they don't tell you is the amount of time between the before and after picture. They just show you the end result. They'll even do it when you're in the house. See this was all torn up, and this was all ripped out, and this was on fire. That was awful. And this right here, this didn't work, and this was broken. This was blown up, and this fell apart, and this rotted away. But then he came in and fixed it, and look at that. And you're going, wow, this looks great. I think I should have this person do some work for me. This person should do some work for me. And that happened to a friend of mine. Another friend of ours had some work done. We hadn't been to his house in a while because we would meet other places, and he had some work done. He would casually mention, yeah, I'm having some work done on the house. We didn't know how much work was being done, but he just casually mentioned it. We didn't know. And then we saw the beginning, and we saw the before picture, we saw the after picture, and he casually mentioned work. We didn't keep in mind to think about the time frame. We just remembered he said it was being done, didn't talk about it, then it was done great. But there are a lot of people that are incredible at end results, but the journey to the end result sucks. Their end result competent, but not journey to end result competent. You know what I'm talking about. It happens in every avenue of life. You see some kid who turned out great, get a 7.0 GPA. He's got a quadruple PhDs. She's a quadruple doctor, lawyer, and all of that crap. And you're going, man, if I have kids, I want to meet that person's parents because I want to do whatever her parents were doing to make her become a quadruple lawyer and a quintuple doctor. I need to know what they did. You go up and talk to the girl and you go, hey, you're 16 years old and you're already a quadruple doctor and an octuple lawyer. How'd you do it? What did your parents do? Your parents must be incredible. And then you find out by asking her. And she says, oh no, my parents were pieces of crap. And you're going, ha 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 ha. Even this is incredible. She's an octuple doctor and quintuple lawyer and quadruple, quadruple lawyer doctor. And she even has a great sense of humor. This is awesome. No, seriously. What did your parents do to make you so awesome? Well, my parents really were huge pieces of crap. Every night at the dinner table, they would break out into a knife fight. And the one that lost, I would take them to the hospital and then they'd be healed up and then they'd come back and I remember one time my mom put a grenade in the dad's car, but fortunately it blew up before I got in there. And then I remember that time dad dropped the piano and it almost landed on mom, and they watched the War of the Roses and they thought those two people are a bunch of lightweights. And then that's what life is like for me. And I just needed to buckle down. I actually just put myself into the books and put headphones on and studied as hard as I can, because if I studied as hard as I can, I couldn't hear the gunfire in the living room, because they both wore Kevlar suits and shot at each other, and all that kind of stuff. But they were good in the fact that they would always shoot in a direct line towards each other. They never shot up in the air because they knew that I was upstairs and all of that kind of stuff. And when they would plant explosives on each other's cars, they would always set the timer for it to blow up when it was outside of the city. But that's why I became such a quadruple lawyer and quintuple doctor, was because I would put on the earphones and study so hard just to drown out the misery of my parents, who are two pieces of crap. They didn't even come to the graduation because they're both in jail for an attempted quadruple, double, quintuple murder for each other. Wow. Now, that's a bit of an exaggeration. She was only a quadruple lawyer and a quadruple doctor. But the thing is, you find out that the end results had nothing to do with the competence of the people who created the end result. The only thing they gave that girl was DNA. And it just goes to show you, sometimes the end result has nothing to do with what's going on in the process of getting to it. I'll get back to the people that do the repairs. I had a guy, he had some repair work done on his house. He recommended it to the other friend, and the other friend had the repair guy come in. He was all nice to the repair guy. The repair guy seemed cool. And the repair guy, the other friend that recommended the repair guy goes, I just left him in the house. Nothing was missing. So he goes, this is even great. I can leave in the morning. I can leave this guy here. I can go about my business. I'll come back. They'll be finishing up at least half of the work or a third of the work or whatever the hell it is. But whatever is done, I won't even see him. I'll come back, and if they leave the key, they'll take the key, throw the key back in, lock the door, go home. Yeah, I'll just come home, and every day progressively that section that I need to have worked on in my house will be getting better and better and better. This is great. And that's what he thought was going to be. And then he came back into the house, walked straight into the room that was getting fixed, and he saw some progress, and it was great. That room was a piece of crap, and now the wall looks good, and half of the floor is done, and these people are great, and it's incredible. That's awesome. He goes upstairs into the living room. Oh no. What does he see in the living room? He sees in the living room a room they're not even supposed to be working in. He sees his chairs that he's saved up for are now facing in the opposite direction, back to back. And he looks at the top of one of his couches, and he sees cuts from a circular saw and pokes, obviously for some kind of tool. And in addition to that, the whole living room is coated in sawdust. Apparently, these jackasses were using the circular saw in his living room. Oh no. Oh no. He couldn't get him on the phone. I'm going to curse him out when they come back. He goes the work the next day, and as it turns out, they kept the key. They came back in and they did some more work. He comes back into the house, and now he's got sawdust in his dining room because, well, it was too sawdusty in the living room, so they decided to cut some more wood, balancing it on his kitchen table, which they dragged to the dining room, and now he's got sawdust all in his dining room and his living room. But that room that room that they were working on, it's now 3/4 done. It's 3/4 done. It's 3/4 done. But now his living room and dining room looked like somebody was having a sawdust fight in there. Bastards. He can't get him on the phone. He comes back the next day. Now the room is completely done. And there's an envelope there, and they said, mail the check to us. And he mailed the check to him, but he also mailed him an angry letter. And you bastards, how dare you not sawdust and double sawdust, and triple sawdust and all of that crap, and you cut up a chair and all of that crap. Right? But as it turns out, what is he going to do? Could he sue him? Of course he could sue him. He'd probably need their address for that. That address that he mailed it to, and the check came back. That wasn't their real address. They came back for their money, but by the time he got in contact with them and he came back for the money, he had already started the process of having somebody come in and clean up his living room and dining room. He had already had somebody come and start reupholstering the damn couch. He had already had somebody come in and work on the television. He had already had somebody come in and clean the carpet. Now these two jackasses, they were so busy overextending themselves with jobs that they didn't mind getting their money paid a little bit late. They didn't mind it at all. But by this time, he had already done the work of cleaning up his place. And they did charge him a lot less to do the work than it normally would have cost. They really did. And now that his house has been put back to normal, it's been a few weeks now that his house is back to normal, his TV's back to normal, his living room and dining room is back to normal. He had gotten used to living in his house, and he was so happy with the room. He wasn't really mad anymore about the sawdust, even though it cost him $300 or $400 to make everything back to normal. He had the money. It wasn't a money issue. And when they came back, he was a little pissed off about what they had done before, but he was so happy with the work. He was so happy with the work, he even took pictures of the work. And now he had the before and after picture. But the process was horrible. But the before and after picture was great. So when the next time somebody walks into his house and says, hey, who did this? This guy over there. You have any before and after pictures? I have a before and after pictures. Wow, he does good work. Maybe I'll call him. Yeah, he does good work. But nobody ever asked the other question. What was it like working with the bastard? What was the process? Did he do anything stupid? Nobody ever asked that. They just asked, are you satisfied with the work? Yeah, that work, but not everything else. There's a lot of people like that. We never ask the extra question, and I think it's always great and important to ask the extra question. Somebody sets you up on a date, you never ask the extra question. I always ask the extra question. Okay, does she have any children? Yes, she does. That's fine. Do you know what her relationship, before you even send this person over to me, do you know what her relationship with her baby's father is like? Well, yes. It's not that big a deal. He's not around anymore, so he just abandoned her. That's really not good. That's really a bad thing. You know that. Oh, no, he didn't abandon her. She has a restraining order out on him because he keeps firebombing her house. Oh, and you were not going to tell me about it. Well, he hasn't done it in about 8 weeks. I figured it's out of his system now. So if I didn't ask those extra questions, all of a sudden I'm dating someone, and then I see some dude outside holding a jug of alcohol with a rag in the top of it, and it's on fire, and he's like, she's mine, damn it. And I see that thing being thrown at the window, and I'm sitting there going, I'm hiding under the couch with this lady and her kid, and if I make it through this, I'm going to find my friend and do something that rhymes with me kicking the crap out of the bastard. Because we never asked the extra question. I had a mechanic friend that was just like that back in LA when I was young. And we had the car. I mean, it's always great to have a friend or to cultivate people around you that can do repair work if you don't want to do it or can't do it. Not that you just want to use them, but at the very minimum, you want to have people around you that can help you with things and that you can help with things, right? You get a mechanic. And the thing about it is, if you work for me and I love the end result, but the process of working with you was a huge pain in the ass, I tell you everything. My comic friends will tell you, if I play a club and other people play a club, they will call me and ask me what it was like to play the club before they ask somebody else, because I'll tell you everything. The other guy would go, yeah, it pays this amount of money, and it's 6.7 miles off this thing, yeah, and the dude that books, his name's Frank. It's a nice club, it's a nice club. Yes, it's a nice club, and the guy's name is Frank. You ain't getting paid when you work there. You go to the other club, the guy will hand you a check, you know what I'm saying, or when you're there or something like that. Frank will get around to paying you 3 weeks later. You will get paid, but it will be 3 weeks later. And I tell them that. And now they can know whether, because if you're a performer and you get paid week, you budget yourself the same way somebody does that works in a regular job, right? And if you really need that money, and you're counting on that money from this club, and you're counting on Frank handing you that check, you take it to the bank, you deposit the crap, and the next day you can use the money to pay bills. If you're doing that, and someone doesn't tell you that check's not coming for 3 weeks, all of a sudden you're going, oh crap. And I would tell you, don't expect to get the money from that guy for 3 weeks. I remember a person that I work with, and I work with this booker, and what happened was none of the clubs actually physically gave you the money. This is back before there was a lot of direct deposit and all that crap. What happened is you'd go through this whole run of gigs, right? And then you'd go home, and maybe 10 days after you got home, 2 weeks at the most, the check would arrive in the mail. So basically, when you went out on the road to do these gigs, the money was coming out of your pocket. Now, you made good bread, and it was worth it when the check came. But when you went out, realize you're spending your money, which was fine. He had a reputation for always paying. That was his reputation. But no one said that you weren't going to get the money for 10 days after you did all the gigs. Like I said, what if you expected to be getting paid every time you went to the club? No, I always ask the extra question. Okay, when do they pay you? Do they pay you in cash? Do they pay you in a check? Is the check handed to you? Is the check mailed to you? I ask those questions because I don't want surprises. And a lot of people don't ask the extra question. And like I was saying, I have a mechanic friend that, I haven't seen him in 16 billion years. But when I lived out there, he would work on cars, and we worked with him, and it was great. And he worked on my car. And I was the kind of person, as I just stated on the comedy tip, I would tell you, does he do a good job? Yes. But I need you to understand something. If it's a big job, 80 to 90% of it will be done quickly within the first day or two, depending on the size of the job. But there will be 10 to 20% of it that will not get done for another week. Whenever he completes the main part of the repair, that will be a day or two. From the end of that, realize, count a week. By the end of that week, it will be completely finished. For example, he will fix your transmission or fix your engine, but something will be missing. Well, I fixed this and that, but I can't get around to this. You're going to need a double valve and a triple valve and a double and you need a double thing and a double that and a double that. Now the car is functional. It's not going to break down. You're going to be able to get back and forth, but it's not done yet. He's the kind of person that will fix your car. He'll fix your dashboard, but only half the lights will be working. You can still use it. You can see the speed. You can see all the other things, but there's something missing. There's always something missing. There's always a knob missing. There's always something that's not put in quite right, and he's going to have to take it back out and redo it. It's always something like that. Now, at the end of that week that I just told you about, it will be perfect, but don't expect it to be done until the time period and the time frame I'm telling you about. Now, if I tell you about that beforehand and I say, listen, you have my word, I trust this guy, using the time frame I just gave you, that's going to happen. If you know that in advance and then you take your car to the guy and he does 80 to 90% of the work, and your thought is, yeah, S did tell me that he's going to do 80 to 90% of the work, the car will be functional, and within a week after that, everything will be done. You're not going to get mad because he's doing exactly what I told you he was going to do. You don't have to ask the extra question. He's a very competent person, but the process is a huge pain in the ass, and now you know. And that's why I always ask the extra question, you know, because I remember seeing my friend with that, with that repair guy, and he saw the end result. Oh, this is great. But he didn't realize what the process to getting to the end result was. And you always got to ask that. You always got to ask that. I used to be annoyed when people would ask 55 more questions. But as I got older, I realized that people that are asking 55 more questions have been through the process of finding out that the mechanic that the street mechanic that they're working with needed an extra week. And they went through the process of knowing whether or not the handyman, because when the handyman comes to my house and you come to work on stuff for me, I'm saying, first of all, if you rip anything out of the walls or tear anything up, take it out as you're ripping it up. I got trash cans right here. If you're ripping shit out of the floor, ripping shit out of the wall, the second you take that shit off the wall, put that shit in the trash can. In these bags, I will take the bags out. Every time you leave, I want to see less stuff when you leave. 2, if you have to cut wood, I got extension cords. Cut that shit in the back of the house or cut that in the porch. Don't cut that shit in my house. I don't want sawdust everywhere. F that crap. So I need, and people go, you're really specific. You're damn right. When you go to your friend's house and your friend spent a lot of money fixing up his house and he saved up to get his carpet taken care of and get these couches that he's really proud of, and he has to get the shit reupholstered, and he has to have professional level cleaners come in and clean his carpet, and he has to have his living room and dining room cleaned and all of that kind of crap because some jackass decided to cut some wood in his living room and all of that kind of crap. You know to ask those questions. Do you have something to cut wood on that is not, you're not using anything in my house to balance any wood on? You need to bring your own stuff and the people, oh, why do you do all of that? Why do I do all of that? I'll tell you. And I don't think it's a big deal to ask the extra question. You should always ask the extra question. If the other person gets annoyed that you actually ask the extra question, that's their freaking problem. So that's just what I wanted to say, my friends. I was just thinking about that because I was looking at a friend of mine and he showed me some, some video of what some work people did to his house. And, I saw the before and after pictures and I saw the destruction in between. And it just reminded me of that. So that's why I wanted to say it to you. You may feel like in your mind, maybe I should ask him too, or maybe I should ask her if. Well, I'm telling you right now, put my voice in your head and let when you think, maybe I should ask them, or maybe I should ask her. Imagine me walking in and going, yeah, ask him, trust me, ask him, trust me, ask the bastard. It's worth it. 'Cause you'd rather be a little annoying than a lot pissed off. You dig? Of course you do. Segment over. You know what, guys? I told you before, somebody asked me what my guilty pleasures was, and I told them one of my guilty pleasures was watching dash cam videos on YouTube, and that's the truth. And then like maybe beagle videos or baby animal videos where the animals are super cute and dogs tilting their heads and cats doing stuff. I get a kick out of that crap because sometimes you just want to take the heavy stuff that's going on, move it aside and watch something light. And I found something else. And I only saw a couple of them, so I don't really necessarily, so don't hold me to the title of these videos, and I'm not looking them up because I don't want to. But it was basically, I think it was videos they would essentially what they would do is they would see characters or superhero characters in movies and estimate what their top strength was for that particular superhero. Like Superman lifted this, so his top strength must be this, his top speed must be that. Spider-Man did this, so his type strength must be this and that, and so on and so forth. And that's actually pretty cool, But the funny thing about it is, if there's a superhero, and I'll put it this way. In real life, obviously there are no Superman and Batman characters or anything like that. But there are people that do have superpowers in the real world. And the people that have superpowers in the real world will be, a person who's really, really rich, a person who's really, really influential, a person who has this or who has that. But the funny thing about it is in the real world, the superpower person, the rich person or the really attractive person, what happens is because it's an everyday occurrence, it's not a movie. It's not one comic book coming out a month. It's not one episode of a TV program where they fly around and do all sorts of incredible things. What it is It's something that happens all the time. If you date someone that is super duper attractive, and I've done that before, you date someone and everyone else thinks of them as a perfect 10 and the perfect 10 and off the charts and incredible and great. And at first you're going, look who I'm getting on with. And all of a sudden, 6 months later, instead of being the girl that looks like Halle Berry, the girl that looks like Pam Grier when she was young, all of a sudden she's just your girlfriend. And it's the same thing with women. He looks like this superstar and that superstar, and as good looking as that person, as good looking as that superstar. After a while, they're just the dude you're dating or just your husband or just your wife. That all that crap that were you so infatuated with, it's not that big of a deal because you see her all the time. Everybody else is drooling all of themselves because of this superstar hottie. But the person married to the person that gets to see them naked every day. They're walking around the house in t-shirts with their boobs jiggling. He's walking around with his six pack all the time. Then you see it all the time. It's not a big deal, right? That superpower becomes boring to you or something you used to. If you're a really rich person, and I've never been that, but I've seen people that had a lot of money in the beginning. When they got the money, it was the greatest thing, an incredible thing, and it's incredible. I'm going to buy this and buy that, and I'm going to be able to do this and do this and do that. But after about a year or two, all of a sudden they're used to having the money, and it's not really that big of a deal to them anymore. They already know they can pay the bills. They already bought the house. They already have 4 cars. They don't even want any more cars. They don't even want 2 of the cars that they got. But now it's just money. It's not that big of a deal anymore. It's just part of who they are. And it's got to be the same thing when I think about superheroes, because we've all had this fantasy when you watch a superhero movie or a superhero TV program, what it will be like to be Superman or Superwoman or Spider-Man or Spider-Woman. You always think about what it would be like to have those powers and how cool it would be. You'd be out there saving the world and saving the universe and stopping crime and all of that crap. But after a while, it would just become your damn job. That's all it would be. It's 9 o'clock. I got to go solve some crimes. That's all it would be. And think about this. If you had friends that you trusted and you're Superman, all of a sudden, in the beginning, it's great and incredible. But you know damn well, just like in the real world, if you're a rich person and you have friends that aren't as rich, they'll very, very slowly start manipulating you, whether they're doing it consciously or subconsciously. They'll start manipulating you to the point where they start getting you to buy more stuff for them. You'll go on a trip to Hawaii. I can't go to Hawaii, man. Hey, it's not a problem. I'll take you. It's not a big deal. I got the money. Come on now. Hey, that's great, right? And on the way home, hey, next year we can. And now all of a sudden they're talking about, and next year you can. You never said anything about going to Hawaii next year, but now they're putting those subliminals in your mind. Hawaii next year, Hawaii next year, Hawaii next year, Hawaii next year. Your ass is paying, your ass is paying, your ass is paying, your ass is paying. And you wind up next year in Hawaii going, I didn't even want to go Hawaii this year. What the hell? And they're going, got him. It's got to be the same way. If a superhero was real, if Superman was real, if I was Superman or you were Superman or you were Superwoman, it would be the same thing. You'd have friends, and at first they tried to act like it was no big deal that you came from the planet Krypton and you could lift all this crap and were indestructible and super speed and super strength. They'd act like it was no big deal at first. They wouldn't want to, to take advantage of your friendship. They wouldn't want to do that. But I'm telling you right now, there would come a time where Superman was at the barbecue and somebody's like, damn, we ain't got any more matches. And Superman, just to be a nice guy, would go, don't worry about it, step back. And he'd use his X-ray vision to light the fire. And then the person who's got the fire lit would be going, mental notes. He doesn't mind doing menial crap with his superpowers. Oh yeah. Right? Right. Later on that day, all of a sudden the hamburgers and hot dogs have been on the table a little too long and they start to get cold. Hey, Soup, why don't you use those eyes and heat them shits up again? Oh, no problem. Thanks, Soup. Mental note. He doesn't mind doing stupid crap with his superpowers. Mental note. And all of a sudden, when people see that shit, people start walking up to Soup. Hey, Soup, man, could you do me a favor? My coffee getting a little cold. Could you do that eye thing for me? Oh, Jesus Christ. All right, hold on. Thanks, Soup. Oh, you made it a little too hot, man. Come on, be careful with that next time, all right? You know what would start happening, right? It would start happening. I can't get this drawer open. Hey, Soup. Oh, man, my jack is bent. Hey, Soup. You know what's going on there, right? And there's always one friend who takes it a little bit too far, a little bit too far, a little bit too mother jumping far. He'd invite Superman over. Hey, Soup, why don't you come over and have a couple beers? You you did a great job catching, stopping that plane from crashing, man. You need to come someplace and chill out and stay away from all the press because everybody's going to be asking you about it. And none of these people know where I live. So don't you just come over to my house, man? Fly your ass over here. Right. And don't even wear your Superman outfit, man. Just, what I'm saying? Just don't wear your Superman outfit, man. You are not Superman. You're my homeboy, Kal-El. All right, man. Just bring your ass over here, man. We're going to have a couple beers. Just wear like a sweatsuit and some sneakers, man. Right. And fly really high so people can't see your ass. Cause if they see you land in the backyard, there's going to be a whole lot of people and they're going to want autographs. You know what I'm saying? So just do what you got to do. And then Superman flies really high at a super duper speed, gets to your house and he's wearing his jersey from whatever city he decided to live in to make his home base, and supporting the sports team. He comes in, he gives you the high five, but he's so excited about not being annoyed by people that he high fives you a little hard and knocks you into the kitchen. And he goes, "Oh, sorry about that, man." It's not a problem, Soup. You sit down with Soup. You're just sitting there talking trash and watching tapes and having a great time. And he's feeling really like, this is great, man. I don't have to be Superman today. I'm hanging out with my boy here. This is great. I'm not going to walk around in that stupid outfit anymore, man. I'm just sitting there in my sweatsuit and my sneakers, and this is great, right? He actually went into the kitchen. We were having some tea. He actually went in and heated it up on the stove. He didn't ask me to do the eye thing, but as he calls it, this is great. This is incredible, man. This is great. I like this dude. This dude is not taking advantage of my superpowers. He's just a friend, and that's great. Hey, Soup, I got to show you something. Oh, cool, man. Come on upstairs. I'm going to show you something. See this right here? Cause I want to get your opinion, man. Cause you fly all over the place. You've been to all the different countries and stuff. So you have a keen eye for design and stuff like that. So I want to get, and with boys, I want to get an idea of, what you think about this room. Now check this out, Soup. Now, cause the thing is, there's a lot of, don't let this distract you. There's a whole lot of trash and stuff here, and I got to get all this trash out of here, and then I'm going to paint the walls. I mean, it's actually structurally sound. I don't need to do anything to the floors. I don't need to reupholster anything or anything like that. I don't need to do anything structural. Basically the only thing that needs to be done up here is, there's a whole lot of stuff, and I need all of this stuff, taken out and bagged up and put out front, and have the walls painted. Cause I already got the paint and everything. I have to paint the brushes and everything like that, this is going to be a kind of a big job, the other guys were going to come over and help, but it's kind of hard to coordinate all of them, eventually, all of our boys are going to come over and help out. They're going to help me take all this stuff out and bag it and all that kind of stuff. I'm going to give everybody some pizza and whatnot and all that kind of crap. We have some pizzas and some beers. You know what I'm saying? And we're going to watch I got some tapes, some classic fights. You know what I'm saying? I got some of that on. We're going to watch that, but, it's kind of a big job, to get all of this stuff up and bag it up and put it out front and then paint to paint the room. It's a really big job, and it's going to take all of us, working together. It's going to take a long time. I wish there was a way that I could very, very, very quickly get all of this stuff picked up, bagged up, put out front, and very, very, very quickly, at a super speed, to get this all painted. You know what I'm saying, Cal? Yeah. I know what you're saying. Would you like me to use my super speed to take all of this stuff out of the room and paint the room quickly? Yeah, I don't want to put you out, man. You just saved all those people on that plane, man. I know you have superpowers and it will probably take you only about 10 seconds to do it. No, it would take me less than 2 seconds to do it. Would you like me to do that? Well, I don't want to, look, man, I just wanted you to come over and have beers and hang out. Okay. If you want to do it, damn, that was less than 2 seconds. Yeah. Oh, how long is it going to take for the paint to dry? I just dried the paint by doing as you call it, the eye thing. Is there anything else you want to trick me into doing, dick face? Look, Cal, I did not call you over here for that. I called you over here just to have beers. Sure you did. I gotta go. There's a house on fire. At least I know what I'm going there for. Come on, Soup. Don't be upset. Oh, come on. Oh, don't fly away mad. Come on, man. Oh, come on. Come back, man. Let me apologize to you. I know you can hear me with them damn ears. I know even though you're across town, you can hear me. Could you do me a favor? I'm going to move away from the window. Could you just pick up like a pebble and from where you are, throw it with your superpowers and have it come through the window, and I'll know that you accept my apology without, having to come back and, ow, you hit me in the head with it. You did that on purpose, didn't you? Ow, you hit me in the head again. And there's a note on this one. Apology accepted, but don't do it again. All right, Soup, I'm sorry. And don't act like that's not how it would go. If you had superpowers of any kind and you have friends around you, they're going to manipulate your punk ass into using that crap for them. I know it and you know it. I'm already starting to hear people, hey, I understand people like your show, your podcast. Yeah, I'm doing this gig at April. Next year I'm going to start having some comics on to hang out and do some of the shows with me. And when you come on the show, you can plug dates when you're on the show. But I'm not just randomly plugging gigs, you dickhead. I'm not doing it, you bastards. Trying to manipulate me into plugging dates. It ain't happening, punk. You manipulating bastards. Bastards. You know what I'm talking about. Am I right? Am I telling the truth? Am I right? Of course I'm right. You know I'm right. Segment over. Well, everybody, thank you. This has been episode number 266 of the S. Anthony Says podcast, and I want to thank you guys very, very much for everything that you do. I want to thank you guys for subscribing. I want to thank you guys for telling everybody. I want to thank you guys for the email. I want to thank you guys for the kind, direct messages on Twitter. Thank you very much. Much appreciated. Everybody talks a lot of crap about, when people listen to them or quote fans and whatnot. But when somebody says great stuff and they tell you that they like what you do, it really does warm a person's heart, and I know that it warms mine. So I want to thank you guys very, very much for that. Now, this podcast can be heard everywhere. This podcast is on iTunes, TuneIn Radio, iHeartRadio, Stitcher Radio, the Podcast Revolution Network. And the home base for the podcast is santhonysays.podbean.com. So if you want to check it out there. To contact me, you use this email address, talk2santhony@gmail.com. talk2santhony@gmail.com. My social media, on Twitter, I am in Twitter in two places and two places only. My personal Twitter is @SAnthonyThomas. The show's Twitter is @SAnthonySays. I am on, I'm on Instagram as S. Anthony Thomas. I'm on Snapchat, S. Anthony Thomas 1. And folks, if you just Google my name, S. Anthony Thomas, or Google S. Anthony Says, or Google the S. Anthony Says podcast, I've been around for a long time. I will pop up, pick one, subscribe to one, and I'll be there every week the way I've been for the past 3 years, going on 4 years. Folks, more than anything else, I want to thank you guys for giving me an hour of your time every week. And I appreciate it, man. I really do. It means a lot to me that you guys you care enough to listen, and it's really, really cool. Folks, doesn't matter to me how you listen to me. It doesn't matter to me if you're on a riding mower, or if you're listening to me on the way to work, on a treadmill, walking down the street. Thank you for letting me into your earbuds, into your minds, into your hearts. Now I'm going to say goodbye the way I always say goodbye every week. You should know this by now. We're all going to say it together on the count of 3, and then the show will be over. Are you ready? Of course you are. Here we go. 1, 2, 3. S. Anthony.